Most of it was destroyed in just a week or two.
2 days. Right.
2 days. Is that right?
That's right.
Have we seen too much? Right on the board. Have we seen too much? And learned too little? See, I've seen enough people on drugs to make me not want to be bothered with. And do you know you can be in a fine, driving a good car, and yet don't have peace and joy? Right on the board that our peace and joy lies with us knowing the Lord. Paul says on one occasion, I called it all dawn. And he says, I'm determined to know nothing save Jesus Christ and Him crucified. I don't care what kind of degree you have, where you've been, who you know. If you don't know Jesus, if you don't have a relationship with Him, you still don't know nobody.
That's right.
And so he says, I will curse your blessing. Yes, I've already cursed them, because you have not resolved to honor me. God wants us to honor Him.
That's right.
Is that right? Now you got to be careful getting up to my giving honor to God. How do you honor God? You honor God with a yielded life. By paying your tithe. You honor God by being obedient to His word. Is that right? Erase that, Tracy. And so he says here. So he says here in verse 1 of the lesson. And now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you. I'm talking to Christian. My job is to teach and perfect the saints of God.
That's right, Pastor.
For the work of the ministry.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
And listen, he said, the Lord says, and now, O ye priests, this commandment is not for Joe Blow, not for the sinner, but for us who are saved. This commandment is for you. Number 2 says, if ye will not hear, and if ye will not lay it to the heart, to give glory to my name, says the Lord of hosts, I will even send curse upon you, and I will curse your blessing. Somebody read from what is Joshua 24 and 20. See, blessings. God knows how to bless us. And you can be happy in a one-room house. And then yet you can be sad in a mansion. Watch what he says in Joshua 24 and 20.
If ye forsake the Lord and serve strange gods.
Read the verse up above that.
And Joshua said unto the people.
And Joshua said unto the people. All right?
You cannot serve the Lord, for He is a holy God.
You cannot serve God just anyway. God is a holy God, and therefore He wants us to be holy. Is that right? All right?
He is a jealous God.
God is jealous. He's a jealous God. You want to serve the devil Friday night and Saturday night, and then walk in on the church on Sunday and put a robe on and want to sing holy song. Not only do you make God angry or make Him sick, but you make us sick looking at you. Is that right?
That's right.
Do you know folks know who's a phony and who's not?
Yeah, spirit by the spirit. I know you're right.
When you've done so much talking over yonder about this, about the pastor, about the church, and you know I'm telling the truth, but you can't wave your hand, you can't say amen, because you done talk too much to the folks out there.
That's right.
I see people Miller, I've seen people, they loud when church ain't going on.
Oh Lord, oh Lord.
But when it comes to really sitting down, hearing the word, being a witness, they sit there like a mice.
Quiet, I hear you, Pastor.
Quiet.
Yes.
That's right.
No oil belongs in the church. Had a lady back in Eastern Star. I brought some drums into the church. And she, 75 or 80 years old, she got mad and said, those things don't not belong there.
Oh Lord.
Full of hell. Finally, she left the church. And evidently, she had not read Psalm 100.
That's right. Make a joyful.
Make a joyful note. Evidently, she had not read Psalm 150.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
That's right.
And so when people don't read the Bible and listen to everything else, they get upset when they hear the truth. See, you can't worry about what people think. It's what God thinks about what you're doing.
That's right.
That's right.
Read that verse again.
And Joshua said unto the people, you cannot serve the Lord, for he is a holy God. He is a jealous God, and he will not forgive your transgressions nor your sins.
Read on.
If you forsake the Lord and serve strange gods, then he will turn and do you hurt.
After God has blessed us, and we turn around and start serving idol gods and start doing any and everything, those blessings that he has blessed us with, he'll take them away. All right?
And consume you after that he hath done you good.
After he has done you good. Read.
And the people said unto Joshua, nay, but we will serve the Lord. And Joshua said unto the people, ye are witnesses against yourselves.
See, you done said that before the people, and now you're a witness against yourself. You got to be careful what you say.
That's right.
And then whatever you say, you ought to mean it. Keep your word.
That's right.
Amen.
See, God is the keeper
Yes, he is.
of his word. All right?
That ye have chosen you the Lord to serve him.
That you have chosen. I remember Pastor S.W. would tell Lucy Mott and Sister Price, a few other people, when they were going through things, they'd come to the office crying. And Pastor would say, baby, you say you saved. And Pastor said, go on out of my office and go back out there. And see, the point of it is that every time your baby falls, you don't pick them up. See, you jump, but you ain't going to pick them up. And the point of it is that if you can't stand the heat in the kitchen, you need to get out.
That's right.
If you can't stand to be criticized in a negative way, maybe you were in the wrong business. Because people are criticizing, but just doing good. All right? Read.
And they said, we are witnesses. Now therefore put away, said he, the strange gods which are among you, and incline your heart unto the Lord God of Israel.
So many strange gods gets in our way to keep us from doing what we ought to do. Is that right?
That's right, Pastor.
And once Christ becomes first in your life, are you with me? Once Christ becomes, and please don't mistake me, you got to be careful and be saved.
That's right.
But there comes a time in our life that we got to trust God.
That's right.
We got to depend on God. And we got to wait on God to solve all of our problems.
That's right.
Man does not have the solution to the problem of our world, but the Lord does. See, the Lord does. And so he says here, read the next verse.
And the people said unto Joshua, the Lord our God will we serve,
The God we will serve, all right?
and his voice will we obey.
Will we obey? Right on the board. I know you've heard it, but write it again. Faithfulness and obedience will never go unrewarded. Faithfulness. This is what he says in verse 2 here. Malachi chapter 2. He said, if you will not hear, and if you will not lay it to your heart, to give glory unto my name. God wants to be honored, said the Lord of hosts. I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessing. Yea, I have cursed them already, because you do not lay it to your heart. God knows our heart. And then verse 3 says, behold, I will corrupt your seed. How many children, how many people today got children ain't worth a quarter? Corrupt.
That's real, shepherd.
My Lord.
Yeah. You call them, you got children living right here in this city, won't even come see daddy, mama, and tell me, I can't stand. What is it that you can't stand? Mama almost died bringing it into the world. See? And if there was ever a time that mama and daddy need you, is when they're on their bed of affliction.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
See? How many times did mama get up out of bed at night to change our diaper, to give us some
No,
food?
we wouldn't wet.
Yeah.
You're right.
And now we come to the point. This thing that we call education can be detrimental to good health. Because sometimes we get a bit tired ourselves. Listen to what he said in verse 3. Behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung. You know what dung is? Don't tell me, but y'all know.
Yeah.
Spread dung upon your face. I mess up, I put it all on your face.
My Lord. He want to make sure.
Yeah.
On your face.
And there was a time that we used to drink out the same dipper. 50 folks, you drink out the same dipper. And now when you give the Lord Supper, everybody got to have their own glass. And he says, I'm gonna cover your face with dung. Even the dung of your solemn feast. And one shall take you away with it. He's going to take your dung and you away with it. Ananias and Sapphira lied. They wanted to be together. So they died and they were buried in the grave together.
Lied and died.
See, they lied and died.
Pastor,
Yes,
can
ma'am.
I read it out the Living Bible?
All right.
It says, I will punish your descendants and splatter your face with the manure from your festival and sacrifice.
The manure. Same thing. Manure. Dung. Manure.
Right, same thing.
And I will throw you on the manure pile.
I throw you on the manure pile.
With a pile of BL.
Yeah. That stink, so you stink.
Right?
See? Until we realize that we're nothing without God.
Nothing.
Listen, I read somewhere, he says that I'd rather be a murderer, a prostitute, than to be a hypocrite in the pulpit. This is the dangerous assignment, and yet it's important. Because up here, you're trying to feed in the people and point them in the right direction. That's why everybody ain't got no business up here. There's a poison snakes in our churches.
That's right.
See? And thank you, sister. So verse 3 says, behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your face, even the dung of your solemn feast. And one shall take you away with it. Verse 4 says, and ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, says the Lord of hosts. What do you do when God speaks? You ought to listen. Listen when God speaks. And so he says, God rebukes the priest. And Malachi exposed, right on the board, that Malachi exposed their specific sin. Their specific seen. In chapter 1, right on the board, chapter 1, verse 6, God addresses the priest. Chapter 2, verse 1, God addresses the priest again. Listen to what he says in Malachi chapter 1, verse. The priest dishonor the Lord. It's bad when we as Christians, we as preachers, and we as born again people dishonor the of God. Some folks out there in the street got more faith than some of us. Watch what verse 6 says. A son honoreth his father,
and a servant his master. If then I be a father, where's my honor?
Where's my honor? That's why you can't walk into, in other words, yesterday years, a child could not call mama by her first name. I told you about when I first went to Eastern Star, the gentleman had a neighborhood business, and he says that the former pastor, Dr. Ware, we called each other by first name. We were buddies. He called me AC. I called him AC, and he called me Jim. He said, what you want me to call you? I want you to call me Pastor, either Reverend, or either Mr. William, either one you want to. Call me by my first name. You don't get up in the court and say, Jim. You got to honor the. And if you don't like me, then you ought to respect the word of God. Are you with me? And some folks just become too calm. If you play with a dog, you do what? And some of the diseases that's spreading around in our country now might have come from some of these dogs.
Are you right?
That used to be fly all in our houses. Ain't nobody caught no diseases then. Take a broom and beat that bat out of the house. And now every time you look around, some kind of disease coming up. Either your hip hurting, your eyes hurting, or your toenail is coming off. Something's always wrong with us. Knees. Doctor said, well, you can't eat the fat, you can't eat the skin of the chicken. That's the best part. Ain't nothing. In other words, it's going to be after a while, we won't be able to eat nothing.
Nothing. That's right.
Every part of the hog we eat was used. The hog hoof. We made hog hoof teeth. And if you had a cough, you need to take some of that hog hoof teeth. Let some of them folks that they stop coughing. Make some of that old remedy they used to have. Vicks and coal oil. Burn it and sugar. Yeah. And now they listen to our president of the United States talking about taking some medicine. That man died taking that medicine. False information. He ain't got no degree in medicine. Let the man do his job that has a medicine degree.
Well, he already said that people die in the way never died before.
Yeah. Yeah. If he gonna run this country, right. Yeah. So read it again, somebody.
A son honor his father, and a servant his master. If then I be a father, where's my honor? And if I be a master, where's my fear? Said the Lord of hosts unto you. O priests that despise me, and ye say, wherein have we despised thy name?
Do you know the world is looking and watching to see what we're going to do in these difficult times? This is nothing new. I shared with you Sunday that Daniel faith was on trial. He knew what the decree was. That if Daniel prayed that he was going to be put in line then. But Daniel kept going and did what he did the fourth time. He raised his window.
That's right.
And prayed. The more folk used to sing a song, if I die, let me die because I'm out here on your word. Who are you depending on? Yeah. Who are you depending on? Read the next verse.
Ye offer polluted bread upon my altar, and you say, wherein have we polluted thee? And that ye say, the tables of the Lord is contemptible.
We have corrupted the house of God. We allow anything to go on now. Is that right? Nobody want to challenge people about their wrongdoing. I might make them mad. Every preacher or every Christian that's going to be about the Lord's business is going to make somebody angry. Maybe when I first started preaching, I didn't want to make nobody angry, but my goal is now to make you angry. And sometimes I said the other Sunday that God takes our own enemies sometimes and whoop us in line. This is a day where mothers are afraid of their own children. Husbands are afraid to speak up and take care of their household. Preachers are afraid to tell people what thus said. It's not my message.
That's right.
I'm just a mail carrier.
That's right.
So don't get mad with me, get mad with God.
That's right.
God needs somebody who's brave enough. Now go back over to chapter 2 and verse 1 again.
And now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you.
See, he calls. Sometimes you have to call people out. Because they think that you're not talking about them or that the scripture is not. But you need to call them out. Hey, baby, that's for you. And they'll say, quick, did Pastor hit us today?
He hit you.
Yeah. My aim is to hit everybody. See. And the point of it is, think it of it. And so we got to understand, if we do not listen, and if we do not to honor the Lord's name, there's a lot of punishment that comes our way. Is that right?
That's right.
The curse on that blessing has been referred to either loss of material livelihood received from a sacrificial offering. That's why when you pay your tithe, the tithe is holy.
That's right.
Some folks is big enough food. And Sister Polk, a lady died here some years ago at the New Time Baptist Church, and her children came up to Mama's tithe so we could bury her. That's foolish. That's right, you're right. Yeah. That's why when you take out money and we say, with me another $10, and you take it out of the pocket, you don't put that back in there, you still get, even though we might have it. And so it's not your money once you pay your tithe. First of all, it's below 8:18. See, one of the reasons that we've lost control of our children at home with us, 16, 17, and they get their check and buy whatever they want to buy. They buy a gadget, they put them in their ear so they can tune you out. And when we worked, we had to bring our money home to Mama. And Mama gave us what she wanted us to have. Maybe but 35 cents. But you could do a lot with 35 cents. She might tell you, but All right, put you some blue jeans in the layaway. Put a dime on it. Yeah, blue jeans now cost you. And they got holes in them. How in the world you look cute with some holes in your blue jeans walking around?
But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth.
The first bill you ought to pay is your tithe.
That's right.
Now it doesn't matter if you come to church or not. Whenever you show up, you bring your tithe. A Christian will. You go to California, stay 3 months. Either you pay your rent up, or either you pay it when you come back.
Pay it up before you go.
So you might have a casino, so you need to pay it up before you go. Even the casinos are closed. The liquor stores are open. Is that right? Everything ain't closed down. No. So these places still open. And then they want the church to close down. I ain't got no beef with that. Thank God that he made the statement. But my question is, are they involved in Sunday school? Do they have a Sunday school book? Have they read the Bible where the Lord said, I'll protect you? And so tonight, we have what we gonna do. Is that right? Read on, something.
But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he swore.
God wants to establish his covenant with us. Is that right? Thank you, man. In the NIV Bible, verse 5 says, my covenant was with him, a covenant of life and peace. How in the world are you going to have peace and don't recognize Jesus?
Maker of it.
Yeah. A covenant of life and peace. I gave them to him. This called for reference, and he referenced me and stood in awe of my name. True instruction was in his mouth, and nothing false was found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and upright, and turned many from sin. Right now, erase that, sin. We play with sin today. But Dr. Sandaray, I had a tape on him. He says when the old preacher preached then, and the preacher talked about sin, that women would hold on to their seat, and men would be sitting up on the front seat, trying to hold on. People ain't afraid of it. People will sin right before your eye. They come into church and sin. Because we say it's cute. What's cute about a baby smacking mama? What's cute about somebody being disobedient to leadership? See? And so he said, sin wreck home. Sin wrecks nation. Sin causes one to murder his own mother. Sin causes teenagers to commit suicide. I know that we're watching, perhaps no television have been watched. And I doubt that the families are really close together, but God might have designed this so that he could bring the family close together. But some fathers, some husbands is in the basement, and the wife is upstairs, and the children is somewhere else. The question is, when the last time you as a family ate together? When the last time you as a family prayed together? When the last time you and your family came to church together? You know, you may not be able to do it through the week, but what about Sunday? What about Saturday morning getting up, coming to the house of God? Is that we're so busy doing our own thing that we're not concerned about the total program. And if I sin, it affects my daughter, it affects the church, it affects other folks. It will affect you. So sin causes teenagers to commit suicide. Is that right? That's right. It causes teenagers to OD. And he says sin causes teenagers to run away from home. Remember that about me ready? Yeah. And so verse 7 says in the NIV, for the lips of a priest ought to preserve knowledge, because he is the messenger of the Lord Almighty.
That's right.
And people seek instruction from God. That's why I have a problem when we listen to people who don't even go to Sunday school and listen to them tell you what you ought to do. Is that right? Don't even have a job, but they up the street there. Yeah. And then he said, verse 8 says, but you turn from the way, and by your teaching have caused many to stumble. You have violated the covenant with Levi, said the Lord Almighty. Verse 9, so I have caused you to be despised and for all the people, because you have not followed my way, but have shown particular in matter of the law. It is better for us to obey God than man. My question to you, who are you going to obey? Make sure you consult God before you do anything. God is not going to stir us wrong. He's not going to lead us in the wrong direction. And then he said, he'll get you out of it. He'll go in there with you and bring you out of it. So Malachi, in the book of Malachi, it tells us that God has against the priests and what have you. And so if we don't do what's right, the other people don't have no way of doing what's right. So we as Christians must live right, do right, and always represent God in a great way. Thank you for being here today, and don't forget, shut in.